Hey guys, so the other day I was mowing my lawn, and while I was weed whacking, all of a sudden this front spool part just kind of exploded in a bunch of pieces of plastic. So what happened was the top cover, so it's supposed to be orange, just from spinning around and grinding against the sidewalk, it got ground down super smooth and super thin, and finally just blew apart. So if this happens to you, don't freak out. It's pretty easy to fix. Don't buy yourself a new weed whacker. Instead, swing. Just get one of these replacement parts. It's about $7. Okay, so step one, let's take out the old broken parts. So here we have the spool. That's still intact, so we'll keep that. There's the crusty orange part. Just press the sides and it pops out fairly easily. So yeah, this has definitely seen better days. If you find your spool, there's a top and a bottom. The bottom has a gear looking shape. And then you also want to get just some extra trimmer line, so you could put some on your spool. So here's how to do that. First, just put that loose end of the line into that little tiny notch. See, so it's off to the side here, it's secured. Then you just wind it in the direction that the arrow indicates. So in this case, this arrow is indicating it to wind it clockwise. So we'll do that. Try to wind it evenly, so that as you're using the string trimmer, the weed whacker, whatever you want to call it, that it doesn't experience any sort of like issues building up tension or locking up. Trim off the excess. I recommend you use scissors or a knife. Make sure you always cut away from your hands. All right. So for the time being, we'll just push this through here just so it doesn't unwind itself. That way it'll just kind of stay wound up while we're getting everything else assembled. And I got this guy at Home Depot. That's my preferred location to get hardware and stuff. The prices are generally pretty reasonable. But you'll probably find these just about anywhere. Any hardware store. So the kit comes with the spring and a cap. So for the spool, you'll notice that you have like these little rectangular openings, and that's where the cap clips onto. Then you have this little tiny circle right here, and that's where the thread or the line comes out of. Okay, so let's take our spool. Again, make sure you have the side up that has like the arrow and all the written stuff. Make sure you have your spool wound up with line. You want to take the free end of the line and put it through the hole. There we go. Next, just put the spool back on. When I do it, I like to try to line up the spool so that the little indented areas on the spool are lined up with the openings where the orange cap clips onto. Next, you want to take your spring. You notice there's like a wide end and a narrow end. Take the narrow end, put it on top of the cap, and just kind of rotate it so it goes on. All right. And if you hear when it gets rotated on properly, it'll make a little tiny popping or snapping sound. Yay! And it shouldn't fly off. Okay. So now, got the line coming through the hole. You've got the openings lined up. Should be able to just take this and push it straight down, lining the spring up with the center spool, and make sure those tabs go into the openings. Success. All right, got it reconnected. All right, let's go test it out.